Hey everybody, welcome back. We're going to continue talking a little bit about machine learning. There's a lot of interesting ways that we can think about trying to teach computers to think the way humans do. And there are a lot of things that are easy for us that can be very difficult for computers. And so one question that we're going to be looking at now is a question: can we teach a computer to recognize different colors? Color is a very human concept. We can look at something and we can describe it with a color very easily. And so the question is, can we make a computer understand colors the way we do? Maybe not exactly as we do, but at least understand how, from a bunch of samples of what different colors look like, how can we go from that to the computer understanding what we mean when we say red, or green, or purple, or not purple, all of these things. And so one way that we can look at this problem is thinking a bit about how we tell computers what colors are. And we typically do this using a series of red, green, and blue values. So we say this color has this much red, this much green in it, and this much blue. And you can see an example of this here on the screen. So for this particular color, red is 0.0878, green is 0.5695, and blue is 0.4287. And the numbers range from 0 to 1. And so I doubt, just from your experience, that you would be able to look at that and know exactly what color that is. But the computer knows how to take those three numbers and generate a color from it. Whenever we've been doing machine learning, we talk about collecting data that we're going to use to teach the computer. We talk about training the computer to understand our examples. And finally, we see how well the computer does when we actually give it a bunch of testing data to use. And so you did a lot of this in the image classifier work that we did over the past couple of weeks. So what I've done for you is I've built a little tool that allows you to experiment with these three values and classify those colors as being four categories. That is red, green, blue, or just other. You'll have a chance to redefine these categories if you want to, but you don't need to. Let's take a look at this little tool that I built for you. So in Xcode, you'll download this file and open it on your computer, decompress it, expand it, I guess, and you're going to open it up, and you're going to see this as the storyboards. You're going to see something like that, and you're also going to see, if you click on the Project Explorer, there are a bunch of settings here. Now, before you get started on this, you want to go in and just add maybe your name like this. So you could put EMW, or if your name is Nora, you could put Nora in there, whatever. You just want to change that so that it's different from the file, the version that I give you just when you download. And if you haven't upgraded to the latest version of macOS, that's fine. But you want to make sure that in this, you select the version of macOS that you are running. So if you're doing Mojave, you want to do 10.14. If you're still on Catalina, if you are on High Sierra, you want to go back to 10.13. But I don't think anybody, is in that category. So here's a couple little bits of how this works. So on line 30, I have defined the categories that I'm using for this. So red, green, blue, and other. If you would like to explore a different set of labels, you can. You can change these values right here. And so aside from that, though, if you want to use it just right out of the box, that's fine. You can hit the play button. It'll build, and the program will run. And so you can see the program here. It opens up with a random set of red, green, and blue values. And you can play with those values a little bit to change them. So I look at that and I say, oh, that looks like blue. Once you have that set and you agree that that's definitely the category it belongs to, you can hit Save Color, and it'll actually save the values into this box. And so you want to play around and collect a good amount of data. Ultimately, what we want to have is about 80% of our data to be testing. 20% of our data should be for sorry, I had that backwards. 80% of your data should be for training, 20% of your data for testing. And you want to generate a whole bunch of data. So you can just keep playing around, play around with the values, see what you can do. That's a little bluish there. Save the color. Maybe we max that one out. Maybe we bring this one back. So that's a green. And so we keep going. And you want a variety of colors across a range of red, green, and blue values, simply because you want the computer to really get a sense of what these different colors are in terms of red, green, and blue values. So you want to keep playing around, keep switching this around until you've gotten a good amount of data. Now here's how you save your data. If you go into this box, do Command A or select all, you can copy it, and then you're going to paste this data into your copy of this template. So I can just do Command V, paste it in, and you can see it has my color labels right here, and it has the red, green, and blue values. These color labels might end up being individual. You might use different color labels if you're interested, for example, in doing, is a color pastel or not? You could have two categories to say this is a pastel color, this is not a pastel color. Or maybe you want to do ugly colors, and you can say this set of colors is ugly, this set of colors is not. So just you define those labels, and those labels are going to show up here. And so you want to have a whole bunch of data for training. You can flip around to the testing, and you can see I've already collected some testing data, and you want to generate a whole bunch of data that fits kind of this template. Share this template with me. The final thing that I want you to do is record a video where you explain, probably with this on the screen, how you think you could tell which color is being shown just from the value. Suppose I give you three values. I tell you that red is 0.1659, green is 0.1284, blue is 0.606. Can you tell which color this is from just that information? And so I want you to record a video where you talk a little bit about that. All right, so just getting back to it, a reminder, your training and testing sets should generally be pretty big. 80% training data, 20% testing data. And let's say you want maybe 100 to 120 samples of whatever it is you're doing. So we want a pretty good data set, about that big, so 100 or so. Your task, define your color categories. If you want to just use red, green, and blue, you can. But if you want to do something different, that's fine too. Make sure you collect your training set. If you're doing 100, maybe around 80 data samples, testing set 20, paste the data into the spreadsheet, and then record that video on Flipgrid. And that's going to be it for today. So have fun, and we'll talk about next steps when we see each other next class. Have a good one.